You see, it's very hard to know whether you're moving or your life is headed in the right direction, because sometimes you could just be seeing results. Let's take example of the life of Abraham. Abraham was called Abram. Abram could not know whether his life was moving in the right way. Why? Because, okay, number one, he don't have a Bible. So he doesn't have a Bible, so he doesn't have the context of whoever it is that is calling him. So when God calls Abraham, Abraham has a choice. Abraham was already a rich man. Abraham already was coming from a community that already knew how to make money in terms of keeping, them animals, cattle, and all of that. He already knew how to make money. So he did not necessarily need God for that. So he already had the skill. So God was not going to give him that skill. That skill was already ingrained in him. It was already in his culture. Now, when Abraham takes on the call of God and he starts to move in the direction that God has told him, he finds out many years later that moving with God is moving in the right direction. Now, when we read from where we are at, when we read the word of God, the Bible, and we find out about Abraham, when we are singing, Father Abraham had many children or many sons, I am one of them. When we are singing about that, Abraham, the father of nations, when we are singing about that, then we can talk about Abraham and see that whatever I'm talking about has the right context, that moving with God is moving in the right direction. But how do you know if you're Abraham who does not know who God is? Yahweh, that is. Yahweh is an unknown God in his community, in the community of Abraham. How do you know that you are headed in the right direction? But today you have context. Today you have no excuses as to why moving with God is moving in the right direction. So you don't got any excuse. You cannot make excuses because you have multiple evidences as to moving with God is moving in the right direction. Now, look at David. When he moved with God, he was able to kill Goliath, even though everybody else was not really relying on God and moving with God, was unable to make a kill and really respond to the call, not only of God, but the call of Saul. Now, you may be following people. Now I come to understand why it is said that cursed is every man who trusts upon another man. Why? You would be cursed because when you trust upon another man, what happens is this. You may be trusting a prominent person right now, and you're trusting them because they're prominent. You may be looking upon the life of many people because right now, if you look at them, they may probably be having what you would call they are politicians, probably. They are the rulers at the moment. They are the people that are in charge at the moment. But what about 5 years from today? What about 10 years from today? You're following them because they are being celebrated. They are celebrities. You're following them because they have money. What happens when they die? So you follow God. By moving with God, you're moving in the right direction. It doesn't matter how hard God, we talked the other day that God will call you into the storm. He called Peter into the storm, and Peter responded and walked into the storm. And in the storm with Jesus was the right place, not in the boat with the rest of the disciples. Because when Peter entered into I'm on the road, so you can understand what is happening. So when Peter entered into the storm, being in the storm was the proper place for him to be. Even though the rest of the disciples were out of the storm, it is not always good to be out of the storm. Sometimes being in the storm with God is the right thing to do. Why? Because when you enter into the storm, that's where Jesus is. And the storm cannot harm you. Even when you start to sink, because you're in the storm with Jesus, he will lift you up. It doesn't matter what you're going through right now. Your storm, in the middle of your storm, that is, in the midst of your storm, Jesus is there. In the midst of your storm, you are there with God. You are like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you are being thrown into the fire. And where you are being thrown into, God is waiting for you in the fire to make sure that the fire does not burn you. You will enter into the fire of lack of finances. I don't know. You will enter into the fire. But when you enter into the fire, know that is why you need to bow not down. Don't bow down. Why? Because they couldn't bow down, the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They refused to bow down. But you know what? Also, what never happened? They did not refuse to burn. They were made not to burn. You refuse to burn. You refuse to bow. He makes you not to burn. So it's the same thing with Daniel. Daniel refused to bow. And when he refused to bow, God did his part. You do your part. Don't bow down to the pressure of the situations that you're going through. Because whatever you're going through may pressure you. You're being pressured maybe to do some corruption somewhere. You're being pressured to give up. You're being pressured to do whatever it is that anybody in your situation would do who does not have God, who does not have integrity, who does not have character. What I want to tell you is that in the fire, God is waiting. In the storm, God is waiting. He is in the storm waiting for you so that he can use you for his glory. May God bless you. May God bless you. This is Harry G. May God bless you.